Hello everyone, it's Andy Glenn here, welcoming you all to another Sharks TV podcast. This week it's an owner's special, would you believe? And every owner was invited. There's only one decided to come along. Can you guess which one? Everyone, it's John Strange.
Afternoon, Andy, how are you?
I'm alright, how are you?
I'm super, as always, Andy.
It's nice to see you made an effort. I mean, I'm just wearing the Sharks top. You've got all sorts of Shark stuff here.
Yeah, if I may, shout out to my two daughters and Way that works for me for the Sharks cufflinks and the Sharks tie as well. I've got Sharks socks on as well, you just can't see them.
Stop there, don't go any
Only
further.
socks, only socks, don't worry.
We're not going any further. And this going to be available on the merchandise counter, or is this a John Strange exclusive?
This is a John Strange exclusive, I'm afraid. So.
All right. There has been lots of new stuff being put on the merchandise table recently. I'm loving the air horns.
Yeah, okay, so that's my fault.
Your fault?
Yeah. Decided a couple of weeks ago, yeah, let's do it. Let's just get the air horns. I spoke to the other boys and said, let's just do it.
Right.
So we bought 100 of them in, and I think we sold them all. So I loved them. We had a few, I'm going to be honest, we had a few complaints about the noise, which is fair enough. You don't really want a child sitting next to you blowing an air horn in your ear throughout a game, but I thought the atmosphere on Sunday there was outstanding. And the air horns helped with that, I felt, as well.
I'm looking at the fact there was about 800 odd folk there, 100 air horns. That works out 12.5% of the audience having an air horn. Let's see if we can get more of them for next week.
All I'm going to say is for the Milton Keynes double header, bring your ear defenders. That's all I'm going to say, because there's going to be more air horns.
Brilliant. Well, the purpose of this podcast is really to have a bit of a look back at the start of the season and you guys, you, David and Phil's journey into hockey ownership and where we're going to go. So if we go right the way back, I mean, it was like 7 months since you guys officially became owners of the Sharks?
May, June time, so what is that? Yeah, you're talking 7, 8 months ago now.
Does it feel like 7 or 8 months?
Ask me on another day, I might give you a different answer. Sometimes it feels like yesterday, if I'm honest with you, and then other times, like today, for example, wandering in and chatting to everyone again, it's as if I've always been, or we have always been here. Mm-hmm. And I think that's testament to folk like yourself, folk that work at the rink, and all the volunteers and staff and whatnot, just continuing to welcome us with open arms every time we walk through the front door. So.
I think that's one of the things that you see online, on social medias and such like, as well. It's not just specific to you. The feedback is from other hockey fans that this rink is incredibly welcoming in terms of our fans, in terms of the people who work here, and just the facility in general. And as more and more people find out about it, more and more people are coming along. And it is down to a really welcoming fan base, isn't it?
100%. The fans, I mean, obviously as owners, we're about on game night and relatively recognisable. So people do come up and stop us and talk to us. And a lot of the away fans will stop us and say, this place is just, I mean, I don't know what they've been used to with other rinks, no disrespect to other rinks, but everyone in here is friendly and welcoming. That's what attracted us to this place first and foremost, was how welcoming the whole place was. So for other fans from other rinks who've never been here before to come here and to make a point, in a world of negativity where everyone complains about everything, for people to take the time to actively go out there and message us or stop us and talk to us or put a comment on something to say how wonderful this place is, it's lovely to hear. And it reminds us why we do what we do for the fans.
Yeah, I mean, there is some strange business statistic that, if you go to a restaurant and you have a bad meal, you tell like 10 people that you've had a really bad meal, and you tell everybody basically. But if you have a really, really good meal, you don't tell quite so many folk. And it's the same probably here. It's that dynamic. But if you come to Dumfries, and if you're not a Solway Sharks fan and you're watching this and you're thinking, well, maybe I could come to Dumfries for a weekend or a game, you absolutely should, because we appreciate the time and effort it takes to get here. because we have to travel that distance the other way, don't we? So we are really welcoming.
We're a very welcoming town, never mind rink, facility, ownership, you know, players, staff, volunteers, everyone's really welcoming. And if you haven't been to Dumfries Ice Bowl yet for a game, get up here. You know, there's plenty of accommodation for those that want to stay overnight. And we put on a good show. We said that when we took this place over. It was about on ice product, but off ice entertainment and night, if you like, or afternoon on some occasions. And that's what we're continuing to work on. And as you'll see, as the weeks and months go on, and even into next season as well, that kind of thing will develop and get better and better and better, so that the whole experience, from an hour and a half to 2 hours before the game when you walk through the door, to an hour to 2 hours after the game when you're still in here. You know, when we had the jersey auction the other night there, the cafe bar was jumping. It was buzzing. And a lot of people stayed back for that. And a big shout out to the fans that purchased those auction jerseys. Thank you for supporting the club in that way. So yeah, I love this. You know this, Andy. I tell you every single day I speak to you how much I love this place and everyone in it, you know?
Yeah, I know, but this is a chance for you to get your message out there to the rest of the fans. And if you go back to June last year, you guys had to hit the ground running. You had to have a whole range of plans, because, as we've heard, attendances last year, 300-400, maybe big game, maybe get 450 or something like that. You've obviously got plans, financial plans, strategic plans, operational plans to put in place. You had a team to organise and get on the ice, because although the Sharks were successful in the league below, this is a step up, and we all knew that. But we as fans were sitting back, kind of waiting to see what was going to happen. But then you've done all the social media stuff, and when you look back on all the things that you've had to do, maybe it doesn't feel like yesterday.
No, when you lay it out like that, Andy, it doesn't feel like yesterday. But I think myself, Phil, and David would all agree we've had such good fun doing it, you know. And we said that when the three of us got together and said, right, let's do this. We all said to each other, we have to have fun. We have to enjoy ourselves. This cannot be a drain on lifestyle, finances. It has to be fun. And I think we've continued to have fun. Don't get me wrong, there are some times we're pulling, you know, what's left of our hair out and stuff like that. But our main focus is always on the fun element. Now that's us. And if we can have fun doing what we're doing, that filters down the chain of command, if you like. And then your folk like Peaks and Dunny. I mean, we all say to Peaks and Dunny all the time. Obviously, they've got off-ice roles as well.
Yeah.
And we always say to them, just remember and have fun. You know, I'm sure Martin gives rousing team talks where he says to the players before the game, get on the ice and do what you love, have fun. It's the same with us as well. I mean, we don't skate, we don't play ice hockey, but we're not just here to stand and observe a game and then go home. We're here to enjoy ourselves. This is an entertainment business as well as a sports organisation. Yep. So it's about getting the fun element out there for everyone. So when you say it like that, we've done a lot. If you think about it, literally took from that first chat with Martin on the phone to coming down and sitting with JT and Martin and Caroline with Phil initially, myself and Phil, and then bringing, I know people have heard this story, but we'll go over it again. And then myself and David coming down, and then the Zoom meeting with the rest of the league, and then 14 days later it happened. I mean, we had zero prep time.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, we had JT and Martin and Katie from the rink and Caroline and all the volunteers and Struan, who dual role working in the rink and being the captain. A lot of the players were already kind of in place anyway. So it's not like we created a brand new club, but we had to try and create a brand new culture as well, because jumping up a couple of leagues, if you like, into the level that was required, there was a lot of work required behind the scenes to make the club sustainable. You know, and you talked about numbers, Andy. So people hopefully will understand that there is a business side to having a hockey team as well as the fun side.
Has to be financially sustainable.
It has to be
doesn't
financially sustainable. So we have worked really hard on trying to do that. And I was looking on, it might have been Twitter the other week there, when I saw that yet again, MK had 2,350 fans at their game. You know, and we're shouting from the rafters that we had 844 in here. So if you look at it from that perspective, if they're having 2,350 fans per game and we're having 800 to 1,000 per game, there's a gulf in finances there, which unfortunately sometimes reflects on what you are able to afford to put on the ice. But then that's where the business brain kicks in and you think, right, so 2,500 down at Milton Keynes, 1,000 up here, for example. How do we bridge that gap? Where you make your product off ice a place that people want to be. So people will spend money here. They talk in this industry, and I know I'm boring everyone now about the business side of it, but they talk in this industry about per head spend. And chatting to one of our other owners a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about per head spend, one of the big club owners talking about per head spend, and our per head spend in here is higher than their per head spend is down there, and they've got twice as many fans.
Right.
So that's testament to not only what Phil, David and I and all the other folk around here have done, but testament to what our fans have done as well, because they've realised that by walking in here and buying a pint and getting a hot dog or a glass of Coke, buying a chucker puck, buying a 50-50, a jersey, merch, pucks, whatever, every single penny of that gets reinvested back into the club. And that's what, we're already looking at next season, Andy. We had a meeting last night of the management group to talk about next season and talk about the team for next season already. So we're trying to work the budget out. And you can only work the budget out based on revenue, because we need to be a sustainable club. There's no point in us throwing a whole host of money at it and then having to do the same again next season and the season after. Then the fun gets removed. So the per head spend per person, the higher we can get that without rinsing people for money, the better product we'll be able to put on the ice. It's as simple as that. So all the things we've done here, from social media to having the license for the cafe bars and stuff like that, we are able to keep all of that in the club, and we're really lucky. And I know I've said it, and I've said it time and time again. Dumfries Council and the Ice Bowl have been fantastic working with us. We're really lucky. If you think of a Planet Ice club, Planet Ice clubs do not have the licenses for food and drink. So all that money, and I'm sure John Neville or whoever's watching this from Planet Ice will be strangling me, but Planet Ice keep all that money, whereas the Sharks get to keep all that money in here, and that's what makes us slightly different to some of the others.
Okay, so that was a big.
That was a big long-winded answer there, Andy. Apologies.
I've got a couple of points in my head here that I need to go back over, but we'll start with the per head spend first, and the Sharks fan. So it's testament to you guys out there what John's saying, that you're invested in this club. The reason the fans are invested in this club is because this club is a special place for a lot of fans. It's been here for many years now, and they care passionately about their ice hockey and this club and this facility, and I'm absolutely convinced they'll do all they can to support. But as you said, it's an entertainment business, and the entertainment this season has been fantastic, be that raffles or the on-ice stuff or chuck a puck with Finn and all these sorts of things.
How good is Finn? How good is Finn as a mascot?
I was going to ask you the question, because when we're looking, you said to me, "Can we do a review of we'll do a review of the season?" And I'm looking back, going, I still remember the day that I kind of got a phone call watching the football on a Saturday afternoon. Like, you got 10 minutes to interview Finn the Shark. Finn the Shark that doesn't speak.
Yeah.
Aye, but we can do it on Zoom and I'll interpret. Shut up, John. What are you talking about? And we've interviewed Finn the Shark. He or she
Which
has
is
been
one of the funniest moments of my life up to now, I have to say, Andy.
It was quite
looking
funny.
at your face when the camera clicked on, thinking, what have I signed up for?
How can I interview a shark that's
Yeah.
not going to speak back to me? But to be fair,
works.
it was fun, and it's what you're saying. But that's the element of fun that us fans have seen. You've had speedboats on the ice.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, Finn's fantastic.
Yes.
Finn's fantastic, and what's Finn going to be doing next? Have we signed Finn for next season? That's one of the big things. I mean, you're talking about the team for next season. Is Finn signed?
I can exclusively reveal that Finn has signed a 10-year contract. So Finn will be here. Maybe one day Finn will have babies. You never know.
Oh, jeez.
A Mr. and Mrs. Finn. You never know what's going to happen in the future. So watch this space.
You know,
Finn for First Minister.
See, what we need now is a really, really good first-class psychiatrist. Just saying. Yeah. What's going on in John's mind?
You've got no idea what goes through my. I lie in bed at night. Everyone knows the owners have other businesses, shall we say? But I do lie in bed at night thinking about this place all the time, and about what we can do next, and what we can improve, and what we can make better. And then I come up with all sorts of, as Phil and David do as well, all sorts of crazy ideas about what we can try and what's financially viable. And a lot of the stuff's shot down in flames because it's just not achievable. But you've got to think like that in order to whittle down to the things that will work.
Classic brainstorming. No idea is a
100%,
daft idea, and you'll
Yep.
create one gem in there. And you guys have created some gems. What thing have you been most proud about introducing into the Sharks in the past?
Oh, that's a great question, Andy.
Obviously, I'll let you think, because
Yeah.
while you're thinking, I'll just say the key thing for David is clearly the T-shirt cannon. He loves that. I've never seen anybody smile so much. You talk about having fun.
Yeah, he does like that. He does like that.
I know, but the time that he gave you a T-shirt from the T-shirt cannon, that's locked
Well-
away up here for what's going on there.
And of course, shout out to Dave Yule, the photographer, who caught it on camera as well. So there's a picture of me catching the T-shirt and then getting booed by the fans.
Rightly so.
I had no option but to throw it away. So.
Rightly so. Not having that. Yeah. What were you most proud of?
What am I most proud of? I'm probably most proud of how. That's a tricky one to actually get across. I'm probably most proud of how respectful we have been to the culture that was already here. Because to take an institution, which the Sharks is, and improve it and develop it and grow it is harder than you think.
Whilst not alienating
Exactly.
the fans that you've talked about.
So I'm probably most proud of the fact that the fans have bought in, figuratively, and, you know.
Do you feel the fans are on your side?
In the main, yes. In the main. Don't get me wrong, I get some crazy messages at times on social media from fans asking for certain things.
Yeah,
and,
I'm sorry about that.
you know, apart from you. And sometimes I'm reading it going, don't know how to respond to that, but never mind. But that's part and parcel of the job.
Owners of sports clubs are not always the most popular. Let's
True.
just, cut to the chase in this. Fans are if your team's going through a tough spell, if it's not the coach, it's the owners.
Come on, we started off with what, 7, 8 losses in a row?
How difficult?
7?
How difficult was that for you
Oh,
guys?
there were points where the three of us looked at each other up in the stand that we stand in and thought, we're going to get run out of town here if we don't start winning, because
Yeah, if you got to 10, you would have.
yeah, this institution here expects better. But we knew that, in Martin we trust, as everyone says.
And Martin will say, trust the process.
Yep. And we knew we would get there. And that was a tough time for us because we are continually trying to implement new things.
Now, you guys would be working really, really hard and
Yeah.
not seeing any of the
Yeah.
actual results that you
So
knew
you-
would come.
You begin to question yourself. You begin to question the decisions you've made, the things you've put in place, and you think, have we done the right thing here? Have we made a mistake somewhere along the line? But you could also see that someone like Martin was struggling because he wasn't used to that. So he was beginning to second doubt himself for about, 3 seconds probably. Then he realised, no, back to focus and well, it's one of those hate to say I told you so moments, but look at us now.
Yeah.
We got there. we gelled. You've got to remember, we as an organisation, took a number of players from the division they were in, put in a handful of players who'd never played here before, and then a few players who'd come from the entertainment league, the elite league. So you've got 3 different types of players coming together for the first time, playing in what has proven to be the most competitive league in the UK, and asked them to hit the ground winning. It was never going to happen, really. When you think back, it was never going to happen day one. It was going to take time. Trust the process. Now look at us. Other than Telford, who we're getting, we've beaten every other team. Imagine that. I mean, you look at Hull and Bristol. So you're a numbers man and a stats man, much like myself, Andy. So I looked back on last season and the points that they had generated and created and the goals that they'd scored. And even a month or so ago, when we were really beginning to hit form, I was looking at the stats and the numbers and thinking, we are streaks ahead of where they were this time last season. And we have now accumulated more points. I think we've now got more points already this season than both of them finished on last season. I think. I'd need to double check that. But.
As you say, it's a really competitive league, and I know you kind of just slice it up into bits and bobs, but you're right. All these players, and if you watch Mason's interview, I know you watch all the podcasts, but Mason talked a bit about gelling, players above. Nobody's played in this league for an entire season before, so there was that experience coming along. But if you look at our last 2-3 months performances and results, we're at top of the table team. Now, it doesn't play out like that, but we're also on a trajectory and on a journey which is incredibly exciting. And you've talked about the journey all the way along. So when you go back to when you guys were starting out and all the rest of it, you had all those plans, did you envisage, after the first 8-9 games, did you envisage us being 7th in the table, looking like playoff contenders and looking to move up?
I suppose the fantasy element of it, we thought, we've put a good team together. On paper, this team, what we are seeing now is the team we saw on paper when we put it together. That's what we're seeing now. So I personally expected us to probably be round about the middle, realistically. Fantasy is you're going to be up at the top.
As you've signed the players before we've even played a game. I'm talking after we've watched 7-8 games, we've won one.
Yeah.
And you're talking about elements of doubt. Did you see us here?
I did. I did, because I knew that if changes needed to be made, they would be made. And we had some really, really tough conversations over the process. Obviously, a couple of players have left, a couple of players have been brought in, and those decisions, as hard as they were at the time, they were unanimous decisions that were made from the top straight down. Owners, management, coaching. We made those decisions when we had to, and we brought in a couple of extra players who just seemed to gel at the same time as the rest of the team started to gel. I talk to the guys regularly about practice and how it's going, and even they say, if you were to come in and watch a training session at the start of the season in comparison to a training session now, everyone knows where they're meant to be and what they're meant to be doing. But they were gelling, they were learning at the start of the season. So personally, for me, we're probably bang on where I expected us to be realistically.
Right.
But it depends how you look at it. Obviously you wanted to come in season 1, hit the ground running. We did some great social media. We hit the ground with a bat. We exploded onto the scene, and then the results didn't quite follow the hype that we'd built. So at that point, we're all thinking, we've created this juggernaut and it's not quite working. And now we are where we are.
Yeah. That's the hockey side of things. If you look at your plans for this in terms, you talked earlier on about a financial plan. Is that where it needs to be at this point in the season?
No. There's a straight answer to that. I'll be perfectly
Tell
honest with you.
us more.
So it's like I said when I spoke about the numbers at Milton Keynes, the per head spend and stuff like that. We still need to get more people through the door. This is a competitive league that requires the best players for each team. There's an infinite, not an infinite. There's a certain amount of players available to play in this league. You know, with the import restrictions and the age bracket restrictions and stuff like that. So there's only a certain amount of players available for all clubs, and unfortunately, money talks. It's as simple as that. You'll get some players that will play because they want to.
There'll be a geographical reason as well, I guess.
Geographical, of course, yeah, because obviously they're working and stuff like that. But you'll have some players, they're not interested in money. Now, we have a philosophy in here, as Martin says many, many, many times, it's person first. So I don't care who you are. If you're not a good person, you're not a shark. End of story. If you're a good person and you want too much money, forget it. It's not happening. Because I'd rather have somebody who isn't constantly thinking about money playing the game. But it's a money business. So it is what it is. We need more people through the door.
How much
but
more?
We've always needed that.
How many more people?
If we can level off at 900 to 1,000 a game, we'll be all right.
At full prices?
At full, yeah, of course, obviously with the half price.
We had the half price deals on Sundays.
Yeah. If we can try our best to hit that magic 1,000, you know, we were talking earlier, 4,000 and counting, Nicky Watt, he messaged me the other day just to say congratulations. I'm so proud of you, I think he said. Congratulations, John, on hitting the...
Shout out to Nicky for paying attention there as well. Done, Nicky.
Nicky's been great for us so far. He's been very complimentary, shall we say, very supportive of us. And he messaged me just to say congratulations on the 844. I'm sure the 1,000 is just round the corner, and I'm sure it is. And you know, we might take a dip. Again, it happens. We have numbers up, numbers down. 1,000 is the magic number. That's it.
844 against Sheffield isn't bad because they are probably they've got the least number from what I can see. But can I take you back to what you said? You said if we get between 900 and 1,000, we'll be all right. Mm-hmm. If we didn't get 900, does that mean we're not going to be all right?
Aye, it does. It means we have to look at budget constraints on the players' salaries for next. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, every penny spent in this club is reinvested back into the club. Period. So the more money
you guys said that right at the start when we had the open questions, the fans forum as such. You guys said that that you know you recognised that hockey wasn't a business that you were going to make cash on.
We're not in this to. Don't get me wrong. If
you can make cash, it's nice.
If the wind of change changes or whatnot, it changes direction, and we start making some good money, then it becomes a business that we make money from. Then fine, that's what business is all about. But we entered this with open eyes, and we knew that it was going to cost us money to begin with, and we were never going to be multi-millionaires by running this club. That's not what it's about. You know, it's about building a culture, continuing to build a culture, being a part of the community. And I have to say, to go off on a tangent as I do, Andy, the amount of work we've done in the community has been like someone said it the other day, I can't remember who it was, someone who wants to be a sponsor, I wish I could remember who it was, and they said the buzz in the local community because of what we are doing as an organisation is unbelievable. They have never felt anything like it in this place before, and that's given the fact that there's obviously a decent-sized football team right next door. We've been in schools, so the players, as Mason spoke about in his podcast, I mean, when I spoke to Mason before he started recording the podcast, the smile on his face, having spent an hour or two teaching kids about hockey, I mean, you spoke to him, you could not wipe the smile off his face. But
it's going back to what you said about having fun. And if he's having fun even in the training and the background stuff, the work you guys have done in the first 7 months hasn't necessarily been the work that reaps instant rewards. It's a longer term project from what I see.
Yes, give you a perfect example of that. The schools work that we've been doing, we've been in there for a few months now. So John Dunbar organises all of that, and Liam Stenton takes the lead on it, as you would expect with it being Liam. And then Mason and Kel and Miguel and a few other players have been, and any players that haven't been out to the schools yet, you're on the list. You're on the list. And we gave out some free tickets to the kids and invited them along. So you have to wait for that to permeate.
Yeah.
So a few weeks back, just before Christmas, Lynn, who works at the front door, scanning tickets in and whatnot.
Everybody knows Lynn.
Everybody knows Lynn. Hello, Lynn. I love Lynn, I have to say. Do you know what? She's the first volunteer here on game night. Always. And I was like, what are you doing here? She's like, might as well get an early start. And I love that. Her attitude is brilliant. Every time I walk into the office, she's sometimes here before we are on game night. And as you know, Phil, David and I are here very early on a game to make sure everything's okay. So she stopped me and said, John, I've got a family of 4 at the front door who are asking if they can buy half-season tickets and family season ticket for next season. They were at their first game last week.
Brilliant.
Because they'd heard about it at the school. That's priceless.
Hockey
and that just goes to show what this place and hockey does for fans and for families and for the community. And that's taken a few months to bed itself in. But we're getting that. And then even some of your friends over in Section F, one of them stopped me a few weeks ago to just double check that he'll get first refusal on the same seat for next year.
I'm guessing that's Richard. Shout out to Richard.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't Richard.
No,
He'll definitely be.
I do know who it was. His name just escapes me at the moment, so apologies.
Well, what is happening with season tickets for next season?
So there will be an early bird offer, which obviously we couldn't do this season because we weren't the early birds ourselves. Every season ticket holder will be given a chance to renew their season ticket at a certain price before they go on public sale. So
able to pay it over a few months because money's tight, yeah?
Yep. We'll do the same. We did that this year and we'll do it again next year. We'll probably try and get that out. We were chatting about it last night. We will try and get that out soon-ish so that people are aware. I mean, it might be another month or two before we get the logistics together, but so everyone's aware. They'll be given plenty of time and we will give you the option to pay it up before the season starts in September.
The key thing about season tickets from an owner's perspective, and I'm guessing here,
the more the merrier.
Well, if you get your season tickets in early and get them booked, I'm guessing that allows you to plan your team an awful lot more efficiently.
You were listening, Andy. You were listening to me. You were adding the 2s and the 3s.
I was putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5.
Yes. So we can speculate on revenue for next season based on revenue from this season, but the hard and fast definitive amount will be based on season ticket sales.
How many season tickets we got currently?
I think we are sitting just shy of 100.
Right. How many do you want? Be reasonable here. I know how many you want.
So
if we could get 250, you'd be delighted. Eh?
I'd like 250, 300. When I spoke to, was it Aaron Nell at the start of the season? Swindon head coach. What a player, by the way. What a player. I think he'd said their first season, it might have been Leeds, their first season, I think they had 100 season ticket holders, and then second season they had 450 season ticket. No, I'm not expecting 450 season ticket holders here, given our capacity is about 500 when it comes to seats. But you can get a standing season ticket if you want as well. So, 100 this year, I think 250, 300 season tickets would be fantastic.
Okay. So as fans, as well as sharing, subscribing and hitting the notifications bell, we're looking for you to buy some season tickets when they come out, and there will be an early bird discount. You've heard that, and an easy pay type option. And I remember, I don't know, the same time as John, Dave and Phil took over, folks saying, I don't need to buy a season ticket, it's never going to get sold out. You think? Maybe for this season coming, when you're looking at 1,000 people coming, there is a real possibility of the Shark Tank selling out week on week.
Well, if you look at the game there, 844. We have just shy, I can't remember the exact number, David will know this, let's call it 492 seats. So we had nearly double that amount of people in here.
Yeah.
Which means if you want to guarantee a seat,
You need to
you
get
need to buy a season ticket.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting one for the future. Just looking at where you want to take the club in terms of some of the off-ice stuff, that kind of stop, it has to keep going, doesn't it?
It does.
Where are we going next?
Where are we going next? I'd love to get us a custom-built studio, Andy, for this.
This is a custom-built studio. Just don't listen to him. This is perfect. We don't need anything.
Oh, Andy, my wish list.
No,
is,
we've got to set this up and bring it down all the time. So yeah.
My wish list for things I want to do is massive. It's huge. It all comes down to time, budget, realistic expectations, etc. We need to continue to market the club in the community, and I mean the local community. And the wider community as well. Carlisle is only half an hour down the road. We need to let Carlisle know that they can come up here and watch. The people from Carlisle who maybe don't know about the Sharks can join and come up. I mean, I don't know.
It's called the Saltway Sharks as well. It's not called them Free Sharks.
Exactly. So there's all of that.
How do you think they go with the whole flag Scottish element of it? Do you think that's a turn off for the folk in Carlisle?
I don't know.
I'm just asking.
I don't know.
Be quite happy with
it's
that.
Close enough.
We'd be quite happy with an English flag with a Carlisle Saltway Sharks supporters club on it. That'd be quite cool.
Would it?
I think so. I think so.
Next question. I'm only kidding. On to all those English people out there. You're more than welcome in here.
No, it would be great. I think it would be great. I think it's the whole region. It's our club.
Mm-hmm.
It's based in Scotland, but we've got many English players.
Our juniors club is run by Leanne Thompson.
Yeah,
she's English. So
yeah,
there you go.
Why not? What about anyone who's watching this or has got into hockey? The way that I got a free ticket to the Sharks years ago, hooked, game one, and look at all the stuff that I do now. So imagine you've got that family that you were talking about. I want my half season ticket and then the season ticket for next year. But maybe they want to do more. Maybe they want to volunteer. Are you looking for volunteers, or is kind of the volunteer bank completely full?
No, we're always looking for volunteers. Don't get me wrong, the volunteers we've got are fantastic. They're brilliant. There just aren't enough of them. So anyone that's watching, that's interested, we need more volunteers. Now that could be for selling 50-50 tickets, or it could be for writing stats down, or it could be for scanning tickets in, or helping collect the pucks when they've been thrown on the ice. It could be any number of things. And we're open to a volunteer coming in and trying a few different things till they find out what they quite like. But an all-rounder would be a good one who'd be willing to just do what needs to be done on any given night. Without volunteers, we spoke about without money, the club is nothing. Without you can have all the money in the world and no volunteers, you've not got a club. So anyone that's interested, any current existing fans that are interested, please just reach out to us.
How do they reach out to you?
So they would speak to Caroline, who works here at the
Caroline
Expo.
Donaldson.
Caroline Donaldson is the... I hate calling her the head. She'll strangle me for calling her the head volunteer. But and without her, oh my goodness, there would be no game night without Caroline. She is like the conductor of an orchestra. She just has it all organised and set up, and everyone knows what they're meant to be doing and where they're meant to be and what they're doing. There just aren't enough of them at the moment. So speak to Caroline, or messages on social media, or send an email into hello@sharksihc.com and just say you'd like to be a volunteer, please.
And even if you're not sure and you want to find out more, come along, chat with Caroline. She'll talk to you. It'll be fine. Yeah. So yeah, got volunteers if they want to come along. We've got that. What about some of the things that perhaps haven't gone as well as you hoped this season? Well, you're not
Well,
going
like
to
the
tell.
first 7 games.
No, you're not going to tell us some of the things. Well, you guys have been very open and honest at the start. You said, "Oh, we'll make mistakes and just bear with us." That's been your mantra. So I'm guessing that means there must have been mistakes made. Is there anything that you maybe would have done differently, or any regrets that you've got?
No regrets. The way we all live our lives, myself, Phil, and David, is no regrets. You can only look forward. You can't look back. Any regrets? No, none.
Disappointment.
Disappointments. Probably. I don't know. I can't really. We've made mistakes.
You don't need to tell us the mistakes.
Maybe, I don't know, I can't really think of anything specific, Andy. That's not to say everything's been hunky-dory and brilliant. We've had some issues, Maybe I've told Craigie to start the music too soon and the guys aren't ready, or they've come out in the wrong jersey, and that's been our fault for something like that, or...
Do you get involved in all that sort of stuff? Or surely that's...
Sometimes, the whole concept of us being active owners, we're not trying to move away from that as such, but we have to let everyone do their own thing. But at the beginning, we were involved in all that kind of stuff, and because my skill set is in the sort of entertainment media side of things, sure. I tend to be involved with the likes of the music and stuff, and speaking to the announcer and dealing with yourself and stuff like that, and Big Owen when he's doing the stream. And James, obviously, who people might not know. You refer to James a few times here. People might not know he's actually my brother. So,
yeah, you've told me to keep that quiet.
He's just pressed pause on the recording there, so he can edit that bit out. So that again shows what a family organisation this is. I've got my brother down here once a week and doing the stream as well, who was not a hockey fan. I don't think he knew what a puck was before he came here. And he's probably now watched more hockey than I have because he watches the stream as he films it.
Me and Owen are keeping him right with the
I'm sure you are.
Hockey.
I'm sure you are.
That's for
so
sure.
I'm trying to think, Andy, of... do you know what? There's millions of mistakes we've made. Just
move on.
I can't think. I just can't think of a specific one. If one jumps into my head, I'll come back to you.
Okay. Have the three of you guys been at an away game?
Yeah, well, I've been to Sheffield.
Right. Do the three of you not fancy going to an away game where you're not going to get bothered by any Sharks fans? You can just enjoy the hockey.
But if we're sitting with the away fans, they'll bother us.
No. Sit beside the Sharks fans, get your hand in your pocket, buy us all a beer, and we'll be sorted.
Oh, right, okay, so that's what it's all about then, right?
No, not at all. It's just when the away fans... Martin's referred to them a lot. They spend a lot of money. Yeah. They travel the distance. And when you're talking about per head spend, you've also got to take into account that a lot of hockey fans, a lot of Sharks hockey fans will spend more than anybody else on hotels, travel, fuel, food to go to these away games. And they do that for every game. I think there's pretty much every single game. Maybe one of the Romford games, there's not been anybody who's travelled from Dumfries to go all the way down there. But we still had
fans there.
But we still have fans there who live in London.
Yeah.
But going away with the Sharks fans is a real good experience. And if you're a hockey fan that comes to the Sharks games, you've never been to an away game, get yourself along. It's actually really good fun. It's a different kind of atmosphere sometimes.
So I remember at the start of the season, Owen, that we spoke about, tried to organise a sort of mini bus, like a 15-seater, and for whatever reason it didn't work. I think now if he was to try that, it would work because there are more fans going. There
was over 70 fans at the Sheffield game.
So there you go.
It's 3 hours away.
It's easier to get to. Yeah.
It is easier to get to, but still a 3 hour drive there, a 3 hour drive back, and it's a slightly different experience being away. And you, as owners, will get to see what other clubs do well and what they perhaps don't do well. So
at the start of the season, Andy, the three of us spoke about the away games, and we all said second half of the season is when we'll try and get to some away games. Obviously, I went to Sheffield early on. I think it was the end of September, beginning of October, when I went down to Sheffield. I drove there and back on the same day, and I've been desperate to get to an away game since, but just logistically it hasn't worked with other business interests and family, all that kind of stuff. However, I'm ready now. So we do want to go to some away games. I know we've got a few away double headers coming up, which I'm going to try and get to if I can.
But that is the difficulty for us as Sharks fans, and I think probably one, I'm not going to say criticism, but one frustration Sharks fans have is that it appears as though some of the other teams have got better deals in terms of double headers at a rink, and maybe the face-off times suit people, like an early face-off on a Sunday, so that they can get home at a sensible time, so they can get to work. Whereas some of our fans that are travelling, they're getting home at 3-4 in the morning and getting up the next day for work. So there's a bit of dedication in that, and I'm kind of wondering if next season, because we're the new boys, there's an element of maybe playing a little bit more hardball in terms of fixture organisation.
Well, Andy, I couldn't say, but yeah.
Well, I'm quite happy to go in and do this for you. I'm a big laddie. I can do that.
Oh, don't worry. I might be small, but I pack a punch.
That's what I'm wanting to hear.
This was our first season, so there was an element of we are the new boys, and
take what you're getting.
We were grateful to be accepted. Let's not forget we had to convince the league to accept us.
I don't think there's any criticism of you guys doing that. I think it's like that was expected in the first year, but for next year, a double header away in Milton Keynes, as they've got here in a couple of weeks' time, would be great for us because it's more likely for fans to go down.
So, first season in this league, we're learning things like that, as are the other clubs, as are the people behind the scenes who put the fixtures together. Now, there was a lot of to and fro pre-season on fixtures, and then there was the whole Steel Dog situation, if you remember rightly, at the end of the out, and then the fixtures all get changed and then back again and blah, blah, blah. So, yes, if I'm perfectly honest with you, we do feel a little bit like we got the sort of rough end of the stick on this one. But that's fine. Season 1 will take that. Next season, not so much. There will be certain expectations that we have that we were going to expect the other teams to adhere to, and then when we sit down and chat about the fixtures, you've got to remember, Andy, when you've got, let's just say, and I don't know about Basingstoke coming back or not, let's just say there's an 11-team league again. You've got 11 clubs, 11 rinks. Some are managed by council, like us. Some are managed by Planet Ice, etc. So there are times in each club's diary that they are unable to get ice. And Aaron Nell, who attempts to try and put all the fixtures together. I mean, it's an impossible job the guy's got to try and please everyone and fit everyone in as best he can. But yeah, next season we'll have a certain level of expectation for away games and double headers and all that kind of stuff,
It makes financial sense from an owner's perspective as well, because you're not paying for double the travel. If you can stay down overnight, you're probably saving money rather than a bus journey down and back. Maybe the hotels.
Think so, but by the time you add in an overnight stay, so for example, over the next few weekends, not sure when this podcast will go out, but we've got some overnights.
Yeah.
So the coach goes down, travels from one venue to the next overnight, get up, play the second game, coach home. But by the time you add in the coach price plus the drivers on an overnight plus the team on an overnight versus just two coaches up and down, the price is negligible.
Right.
But it's far more beneficial for the players.
Oh yeah, they're not having to
stay overnight. And that was the key element in that decision, because effectively there is not much of a difference in cost, but it's much better for the players. When the Swindon-Bristol doubleheader, go down, play Swindon, travel from Swindon to Bristol, stay overnight, get up, they've got the day. Play Bristol, come home.
Yeah.
And I think the following weekend is Telford, Milton Keynes. So similar idea to that. But next season we'll be expecting a wee bit more sympathy.
That's fine. That's fine.
Don't get me wrong, the other owners, listen, the other owners are all brilliant as well. I have to mention Graham at the Bees. Him and I talk almost every other day now. He's such a nice guy, and he's very supportive of what we're doing here, and he's desperate for us to go down there so that he can show us what they do. and he's not copied. Copy's the wrong word, but he's taken on board a lot of the stuff we did here because him and his wife were up for the game here. Stayed over, loved the place, loved all you guys, loved everything we were doing. And it's about learning and from each other and helping each other. And it's that whole thing. And every single owner in this league will say that to you. Let's work together. Let's help support each other. Let's build this league up as big and as best as we can, right up until the point that we're playing you. And then you're the enemy and we don't like you and we want to beat you. And then afterwards, once we've beat you, we'll shake your hand and then we'll start helping each other again. And that's what's nice about this league.
No, and I get that. And I get that owner's perspective. For me, I feel part of my job is to represent some of the fans' views and ask these questions. I'm not going to get on ice hockey governance or anything like that in this podcast, but I do want you to come back on and talk a bit about that at some point in the future.
Oh, I've got a lot to say about that.
Well, no, we're not going to do it now because we're running at the end of our time as it is. The one thing I was going to say to you is the last time you were on my podcast, you dropped an exclusive.
Oh, no.
No, you did. You told us about the big screen and all the rest of it, and that was the first we've heard of it. So, not that I'm greedy or anything, but you got any exclusives for us?
I don't think I do, Andy.
We'll make one up and then we'll just make it happen.
So, people should probably know about this anyway, but the screen was a big thing for us, obviously. Yeah. And how good is it? I mean, it's brilliant. It's
great. I want to see replays on it, though.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
We'll maybe not go there on this one.
I want live hockey on it.
Yeah, that's a chance. So exclusives we are full steam ahead on planning to, with other clubs' approval, stream the away games in the bowl. So in the cafe bar. A number of clubs have already agreed with us that they're happy for us to do that. We just need to get the rest of them to agree. Hopefully that'll happen before the end of the season so we can try and get, because I know it's hard, like you say, it's hard for away fans to go to, say, Milton Keynes on a Sunday for a 6 o'clock face-off. If we can stream that in here and put on maybe an exclusive shirt off the back for the fans that have come along here, we've got the cafe bar open. What does that help with, Andy? Per head spend, again, all that kind of stuff. That's something that's in the pipeline that's happening, not necessarily an exclusive. We still have plans for a hospitality suite.
That'd be good.
Which we spoke about. The plans are there. It's a revenue thing. We're looking for a sponsor for that. So if anyone's watching that quite fancies having their name on our hospitality suite, let us know.
There are plenty of sponsorship opportunities still available for companies.
Loads. There's always, the thing about hockey is there's always loads of sponsorship opportunities. With the big screen as well. You know, if you put a 20-second advert on that screen during an 18-minute period, you've got 54 adverts during one period break. So there's plenty of space on the big screen, plenty of space around the rink. Obviously, we've got the jerseys this season. We'll be looking for, new sponsors and existing sponsors to stay on for that as well.
I think the interesting bit about the live stream at the Ice Bowl, when people will pay £15 typically for a stream in their own house, and yes, you're in your own house, you don't have to move anywhere, but you could pay £15 coming along to the cafe here, and rather than that £15 going to the away team's revenue, it's coming in at the Sharks. I think there's maybe worth a bit of thought up here about where you want your money to go to.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, with respect to the other clubs, we need to be very careful not to be seen to be taking revenue away from them. So
they'll be doing the same to ours.
Well, we've agreed, with a couple of clubs, we've agreed a kind of nominal fee.
Yeah, so it'll not be £15, you would be more than that.
So however many, say for example, we'll give you the equivalent of 10 streams money to allow us to show the game. That's an individual team-to-team thing.
The key thing that I'm trying to get to fans is that you've got to keep coming along and supporting the Sharks in whatever way you can. And that might mean coming out on a Sunday to watch it here, but you know what? There might be some exclusive.
Yeah. The only other exclusive I would give you is, as you know, Andy, I love the media side of things.
Do you? You've kept that quiet.
I don't know, I'm such a shrinking violet. We will continue to improve this setup, Sharks TV. And the plan is, which I think I might have said the last time, we've just not got around to doing it yet from a logistics perspective, is the stream will move position from where it is at the moment to the other side of the bowl above the DJ box. There'll be a platform getting built there and Sharks TV will move over there, which means watching the stream, it'll look slightly different because we'll be at the other side of the rink. But what that does is it also frees up 2 rows of seats for all those season ticket holders that are desperate for their seats, and that's a prime location right at centre ice as well. And with that, as James knows, because it's him that's putting it all together, we're adding cameras as we go as well. We've now eventually got the behind the goal cameras, which help us look at certain goals that are or are not, etc.
I'm more thinking of the penalty shootout against Leeds. How many times have you watched Mason's penalty winner?
It was, well, I was, myself, David and Phil were on a coach in Germany on the way back from a Dale 1 game and watching it on 2 mobile phones. And I mean, the bus driver nearly crashed the bus when he scored that, because we were jumping up and down and throwing each other about the coach. It was absolutely fantastic. And then the following night we watched the overtime win against the Raiders on 2 laptops in the bar of the hotel, with about 100 people queuing to get up to this sort of swanky exclusive rooftop bar in this hotel, and they're all standing there looking at us going, what on earth is going over in that corner there?
See, you guys go on different types of holidays as me. I'm more the first one in the back of a coach.
Yeah.
You're in some swanky bar in Germany. That was pretty exciting stuff.
Oh, it was amazing. And Mason's goal, you know what? Credit where it's due. Sometimes you do something like that and it doesn't come off. But when it does come off, I will never.
He's still smiling about it.
So am I. I will never tire of watching that. It was fantastic. But more than that, if you watch, I think not necessarily the behind the goal official video. I think there might have been a video on Shark Zone, and I should also mention Shark Zone whilst I'm here as well. They do a lot for the club, promoting us and helping us and sharing all our stuff. So to Dave and his team, thank you for everything you do. But somebody posted a video from their mobile phone, I think. And when you see Mason skate round after he scored, and the guys are that desperate to get off the bench, I think it might be Callie Robertson, tries his best to get over the boards and just face plants straight on the ice. And it's like, that is exactly what this club is all about, because they were that desperate to get on and celebrate that he face planted on the ice. That's what I love about this place.
It is a special place.
It's a special place. It's my home now. I love it.
As do we, and we love what you've done. So thank you so much for spending the afternoon chatting with me. And part 1, I'm going to get him to talk about governance soon. Better believe it. We'll talk about that.
I better get my lawyer with me during that one.
You maybe will need a lawyer. But no, thank you so much, John, for spending the time with us. You're going to have to say a few words to the fans in a minute.
Okay.
Just before you do that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who watches, who comments on the videos, and who shares them and promotes them. You know, John's been saying that he's been watching the game in Germany and all the rest of it. Share it wide. We want this club to go as big as it can. Do what you can, and thank you so much for watching. But last words to John Strange.
So before I give a message to the fans, I just want to publicly thank you, Andy, because I know you don't like it, and you don't like it when you get the attention. Well, you do like the attention. You're like me. What you have done for this club and continue to do for this club is priceless. I spoke about money earlier on and about per head spend and about all the business side of things and whatnot, but without someone like you who on day 1 was on to me and said, I will do what needs to be done. I love this place and I love this club. You interviewed all the players on your own, on Zoom at the start before we had all this kind of stuff set up. I don't think I've ever heard you say no to anything I have ever asked you to do. So I class you as a friend now, Andy, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of all of us, but personally on behalf of me, because it's media. I could not do the things that I want to do in this place without you volunteering and giving up your time. So everybody that sees Andy on game night, just remember, this guy does so much off ice as well as, well, he's not on the ice, but behind the scenes. You're a legend, Andy, and I thank you for everything you're doing. So.
Well, thank you very much, John. James, can we just cut that last minute?
No, keep that in. Keep that in.
That would be great.
Do you want a message to the fans?
Thank you so much for that. But the more important message is the message to the fans. Off you go.
But you like, yeah. So I said it on day 1 to the fans. Thank you for coming along. everyone sits on this very chair and looks down this lens and says, please come along, please support the boys, bring the noise and whatnot. On behalf of myself, Phil and David, I just want to thank everyone for believing in us and supporting us. And for those who have messaged us personally, individually, indirectly, thank you. We take everything on board. Just keep coming along, keep enjoying your hockey, but when it gets tough, which it will do at times, we're going to lose a game occasionally. Just remember that we came in here and took this club on to make it a success, and that's what we'll do. So we will win things. I know the Sharks are used to winning things at other levels. We will win things soon. Just bear with us, keep coming along, keep bringing the noise, and thank you so much.
John, thank you again for coming along this afternoon, and thanks to everyone who's watched us. This is Andy Glenn saying cheerio.